Hello everyone, how's it going? It is Relentless and welcome back to another video. Now today I'm going to be giving you the podcast that I was featured in on Tynamite's channel along with Ethan Woodgates. This was discussing the post-reveal of Mafia 3, which occurred last week at Gamescom. It was a really fun podcast to do, and I'd like to thank you Tynamite for inviting me onto the podcast. Me and Ethan had a great time on that podcast. It was hilarious. Great time. Looking forward to do more podcasts for you guys. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to be showing you the podcast. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you all later. Bye.
So guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Another podcast, another day. This time we're talking about Mafia 3 just got revealed. And we've got Ethan and Andy here. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello everyone, how's it going?
Very, very excited, I think, after that trailer, to be totally honest.
It did look quite good, actually.
Yeah. I mean, sadly not playing as Vito, as our main character, but Vito is in the game.
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard. So in like the last 3 years, that Vito's gonna be back. I've never been so hyped because Vito's one of my favorite video game characters ever, and I was kind of disappointed at first because when I first seen that there, you remember the promotional image from last week?
Yeah.
My first thought was, where's Vito? Because I thought Vito would have been kind of at the front, at the center of the photo, beside the black woman with the afro, pointing the gun at the guy who was on his knees. Then that wasn't the case. It was a new guy called Lincoln Clay. But when I watched the trailer today, then
which order it is?
What's that?
Then we found out.
I said, is it Clay Lincoln or Lincoln Clay?
Lincoln Clay.
Lincoln Clay, okay.
Clay! He's got Clay in his name. Does that mean we can
Clay?
stick him in the side of the cliff and just say, he belongs here?
I guess so.
Slaps knee. Terrible joke.
But yeah, well, I mean, Vito is one of my favorite characters too. I mean, I really, really loved Mafia 2 and Vito, and it was, I mean, he definitely made the game, and Joe as well. But I mean, it's pretty clear. Spoiler alert: Mafia 2, that Joe got fucking killed. So
Only apparently got killed. Apparently.
Well, apparently.
We don't know that.
He'll come back and just be like in a massive triangle of circles and stuff and say, I'm back, bitches.
Yeah,
maybe could be possible that Lincoln is like something related to Joe. Could be possible.
Maybe, but I mean, I doubt it because like if we've found out there's a lot of information that's just boomed out now that the trailer's out, and one of the main things is that these three people, it's all these different mafia gangs. There's the Irish Mafia, is that redheaded guy. Then there's another mafia group that woman runs, and then
the Scottish Arabic Mafia.
I don't know idea. Is that true? Or you're
Run
making
by
that up?
Elva.
The what?
You don't get the joke. James would get the joke if he was watching.
Okay, we'll let the one person get the joke.
It's an inside joke.
Inside jokes that no one inside here gets. I love it.
It's an inside joke that nobody gets.
And you've got Vito, Vito's the head of the Italian mafia, and then you've got this guy. I don't know if Lincoln's actually the head or he's just a part of it, but he kind of recruits them and you work with those other guys and they become your lieutenants. And from what I gather, like there's different, because there's gameplay out there and there's different like locations and stuff that you can, I don't know if you buy areas that you can kind of get your mafia crew kind of in on, or you kind of capture those locations and then you give it to like Vito to guard or take or whatever, and you get specific upgrades from him or whatever. There's so much to it by the looks of it.
Well, if you ask me, it's always going to be like that. I mean, say you have a sequel to the game, then you have the game. Let's take, I don't know, what game do you reckon we should take, for example, here?
GTA 5, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
Grand
GTA
Theft
5,
Auto,
yeah.
right. Okay, let's compare Grand Theft Auto 5 to Grand Theft Auto 4, right? Grand Theft Auto 5, there's a lot more to do, I would assume.
Yes.
So that's because, as, like, gaming progresses, like, graphically, also how to handle that and what to do in the game is also progressing in like size, so the game's getting bigger. Games are getting bigger. I mean, if you downloaded, say, oh no, you downloaded like a Call of Duty game on your computer, it'll be 30 gigabytes now, or Wolfenstein 50 gigabytes. So if you take it from that perspective, games are getting bigger. So Mafia 3 should be bigger than the other ones.
In theory, you're right.
But it could turn out to be like, let's think.
I mean,
I don't know, Skyrim, where it's actually not as much to do as there was in, like, say, Morrowind or Oblivion. Well, there was.
Are you kidding? Like, you can't finish it. Well, I mean, you can, but
you can't finish it. But there's no finishing to Morrowind or Oblivion either.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is the fact that well, item-wise as well, there are less items in Skyrim than there are in like Morrowind, because Morrowind had like armor-wise, it actually had like individual plating and stuff like that.
But that's refining games. That's because sometimes it can be too much. I mean, look at Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect 3. It's like Mass Effect 1, there was way too much. Mass Effect 2, there wasn't enough, because they kind of tried to refine, and then Mass Effect 3, they kind of tried to like find the balance. So, I mean, they might get longer, they might get bigger, but I mean, it depends on the game. I mean, by the looks of... I mean, Mafia 2 was just... You had your story. Sure, there was the open world, but you didn't really do anything in it other than fill up gas in a car and buy awesome fucking suits.
Wait, you had to
collect the Playboy magazines?
Oh, of course, the Playboy magazines.
Fuck. You had to fill up the car?
Yeah. How could I
Jesus
forget?
Christ.
That was where I spent most of my time.
You filling up your car?
No, look at the Playboy magazines.
What? You're just looking at the magazines? You just like look at magazines? That's not.
There's about 40 pages worth.
Oh, what the hell is that? That's something I'd find on SuperTuber Reddy's channel, not here. Christ, closes it, throws it out the window, drives off.
Fucking hell. But this one, you've also got, I mean, even just seeing from the trailer, you've got not just the city of New Orleans, you've got the bayou outside of it, the wilderness and shit. So there's wildlife, obviously. I mean, you saw the alligators or crocodiles, whatever they were.
Alligators.
And you see that, and you realise that there's a lot to do, and hopefully a bit more stealth involved in hiding bodies and shit. I mean, he fucking stabbed a dude and fed it to an alligator. That's fucking awesome.
That is amazing.
He was still alive as he was being eaten. That's the best bit.
Just looking at the trailer, general thoughts on just the trailer, other than the outside of the game.
The trailer.
Yes.
I thought it was great.
It was good, and for a trailer, that's not impossible. But it did actually have that potential that most trailers lack.
Yeah, I mean, it was cinematic. Like, it wasn't gameplay, but there was enough.
It had the same feel.
There was a lot of symbolism in it. There was a lot of nice shot effects and things like that. There's a lot said without saying anything in the trailer. And, I mean, we saw that he was in the Vietnam War. You see him at the front as a kid, left at the front of that house with a suitcase by himself. So he's obviously like an orphan. And you learn a lot about him.
Sort of.
Just like who?
Vito. Like, he returned from the war as well, but in different circumstances.
True. Yeah, I guess you're like that. Cool. That's a good point, because I mean, Vito had a family to go back to, but at the same time, you're right, because as a youngster, went off to war. Whereas I guess Lincoln's wants to go to war because he's trying to find his place in the world, kind of thing, is what I'm kind of gathering from it. Because he's, his parents don't want him. He doesn't know where his, what a family really is, and that's why he says, family's not.
And he's joined the Mafia, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Your family's not who you're born with, it's who you die for. So it's like after everything, he supposedly gets into gangs and stuff, and then ends up in Vietnam because he wants to find his place, and he thinks maybe, a brotherhood that is in the military. Then when he gets back, it's more of the kind of running in with the Mafia. But I'm not really sure the other characters, other than obviously the other Mafia heads. But who are the characters that he's involved with in his family is what I'm interested to see.
Yeah, I suppose it's like it's set according to James, it's set in the year 1968, if I read that right.
Yeah, it's 1968.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might just have to ask my dad what happened in 1968, but the problem with that is he probably wouldn't tell me something because that's the year that he was born in.
Yeah, it's probably not useful. Yeah.
Not going to be useful. But I don't know. I don't think he was into like New Orleans stuff. So I don't think it's going to follow any historical timeline per se.
Well, at the time, there's a lot. You think about the '60s and early '70s. You're looking at a lot of racial tension, especially in the South. You're looking at New Orleans, Louisiana. That's a lot of racial tension, and he's a half black, half white man.
You can tell that he's mixed race, and his voice is sort of like that of like that awesome black guy's, and he's got a very nice olive tone to his skin.
Yeah, and you got to think of it as well as, sure, he's half at least by the looks of it. People are going to see him as just a black guy if in that world. So lots of people are going to treat him like shit at that time.
They're going to spit on him, stamp on him, and then you're going to shoot him.
And then he's going to fucking stab him back. And he's got that awesome, like,
he's going to stab them and feed
knife.
them to an alligator again.
That was so sick. I was like, that guy's legit as fuck. That was awesome.
Do any of you think, what role do you think Vito will have in the story? Considering this is around almost 20 years since the end of Mafia 2, where do you think Vito's at in his life? And what do you think his role will be for helping out Lincoln in the story?
He'll be in his early 50s, I reckon. Maybe late 40s.
He was born 1925, so that would make him
43.
43.
Yeah, okay. So, like, I don't understand. 43, why can't we play as him? He's not too old.
I know.
I'm a little disappointed.
Right, forgive me for bringing Assassin's Creed into this, but Ezio's 50-odd in Revelations, and people complaining left, right, and centre about that.
No, well, fuck whoever complained. I don't give a shit. I'll play as Ezio when he's 65 and dead. I don't care. I'll play as Ezio whenever.
I'll play as Ezio as a corpse. It'll be just like a random corpse in the ground. Like, why can't I do anything?
Still better than most of the new characters anyway, so that's fine.
Yes.
I told you there was more to Assassin's Creed.
Better than Arno any day.
I wouldn't believe you.
But you look at, I guess, Vito's role, I think, I mean, he's the head, I believe, at least, of the Italian mafia in that time. I mean, moving from what was Empire Bay, which is just a New York-based city anyway. It was based off New York. From that area to the south in Louisiana, I'm interested to see why he left. And obviously, he kept staying involved in the mafia, and obviously he rose up the ranks, and now he's a head of maybe a family of his own. I think he's going to play the role of the kind of wise wisdom kind of guy.
Yeah, like sort of like a mentor to Lincoln.
Yeah, and I guess, I don't want to say this, but because he's not playable and he's that age, that he could very well die like mid-game.
It's going to be very sad too.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
No, not would I. I actually expect it. I highly expect him to die in the game.
Because developers these days love sticking their middle fingers up at their fans, and B, it's just story, really. It's cliche, and it's likely.
Yeah.
It's cliche. It happens.
I mean, there's a lot of emotion there, like when you get involved with someone. But I guess, I don't know, because supposedly if you fuck over these other heads of the organizations, it says that they can turn on you. So
yeah. Or like say,
who the fuck
Vito.
knows? Exactly.
Screw over Vito when he's coming back at you.
Wouldn't want to mess with Vito, that's for sure.
Mess with that woman with the afro.
Did you guys play, this is kind of off track, it's still on Mafia, but it's off track. Did you guys play the Mafia 2 DLC where you played as Joe?
Yes,
Nope.
Joe's Adventures.
Is that good?
It's much better than the Jimmy's Vendetta DLC, I can't say that. But overall, it was really great. It was really fun too, because it just kind of ties in loose gaps. What happened when Vito, spoiler alert, went to jail, and what happened before he came out. Basically, that's what it all covers, really. 6 years of Joe being out in his own in Empire Bay, doing, crazy mafia shit.
Crazy mafia stuff.
Yeah.
Not within a gang, just on his own.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, and he was really just getting the help of some random guy. That was really it.
Okay.
So basically, it's like Watch Dogs then, in that case, just without the phone.
Just without the phone. Because I did like...
that defies the point of Watch Dogs.
Yeah, I did like with Mafia 2, because I love the setting of the late 40s early 50s kind of that's the romanticized kind of Mafia era, and which was great. Did I need that again? No. So I like the fact that they've said this is past the romanticized Mafia era. This is where it's the gritty. The drugs are coming into it, like heroin's on the rise. There's a lot of racial tension. It's not just a bunch of Italian guys. It's just a bunch of different gangs and mafias. And it's publicly known as they're criminals and stuff. Like, it's not all under wraps anymore. So it's going to be really a different game. It's going to be so, so different. It looks, based off gameplay, like a more of a GTA style, which, I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah. But what I don't get is how that woman has that weird afro thing. Well, just the afro. And it's not even the 70s yet.
Well,
that's right.
People had afros before the 70s, but yeah, we'll move on.
They had them in the 1800s.
I mean, you'd see someone with an afro in the 60s, you'd want to beat them up. You saw him in the 70s, you'd think, oh, it's just another else.
Well, look at that chick. If anyone tried to beat her up, she'd probably clock him in the face with a rifle or something.
With a Colt. Just have a Colt in her hand.
She'd fuck him up by the looks of it. Do you reckon they're playable co-op? Do you reckon later on we'll find out it's playable co-op? Or do you think it's just they're just a bunch of characters more for the gameplay fact of you're trying to align with other Mafia groups?
I would assume so, maybe. Sort of.
I just think they're just there in the background, helping out with the whole story. I wouldn't think there's going to be any co-op at all in the game. That's just my feeling.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, it's
multiplayer's past its prime anyway.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. It's hard to pull off good co-op, and it's hard to pull off good multiplayers, because it's not as easy as it feels like it's not as easy as it was to get a bunch of group of people online to play together to make a game fun. Like, there's lots of games that rely on you playing with a bunch of people. Like GTA 5's heists, you need to have 4 people, and it's so hard to do a heist unless you know the 4 people and can talk to them. So you've just mostly got random people.
Games that rely on multiplayer that somehow seems to be offline, Brink.
Yeah, it's tough.
Basically, it's multiplayer with bots all the time.
Yeah, it's not easy, and it'd be hard. I guess it'd be hard that way. But again, if it was in it, it'd be optional, so that's not a big deal anyway. But I mean, you've got this main character who looks like a badass. Let's face it, he looks like a fucking relentless dude. What do you guys think of the character so far? Like, and what do you guys think? He'll be kind of like.
I don't know why, but I can't get my mind off the woman with the afro. I think she's going to kill someone with that afro.
With the afro,
I don't know.
Just stick the afro down someone's throat. It's like pull it all together and stick it down the throat. Surely that works.
I'm sure it does.
It happens in Rambo. Must be true.
That's true. If the internet said it, that's all the proof I need.
The internet is all the proof that we need.
Well, for me, my first thought in the character, I'm not entirely sure he was going to be able to top Vito from Mafia 2. Or if any of you have played Mafia 1, the very first one, I have way back, about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, the main guy, Tommy Angelo, he was a great character also. He was just like Vito in some ways. But I kind of, now that we're like 13 years later, story and games back then, they were great, but nowadays they're not as great. But Mafia 2 was one of the games that stood out and having an amazing story. But I don't know about Mafia 3. It's going to have as good as a character as we had previously, because, as games have progressed, we have had lesser and lesser of great characters. So I don't know about this Lincoln guy, if he's going to be just like another Vito, another Tommy from Mafia 1. I just don't know what's going to happen. It could end up being Vito's actually the best part of the game, which is probably going to be the case for me.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to have to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to the same level, but it's like having Ezio in an Assassin's Creed game, but you're playing as a guy that's next to him, if that makes sense. Not to that level, because to me, as much as I love Vito, not even in the same league as Ezio as a character. Not in the same league.
You can't compare them because they're from different franchises.
Different franchises, but you can compare the love you have for a character. You know what I mean? In that kind of scenario. They have different goals
as well. And
well,
the personalities are executed different ways.
Well, that's why it's all about me preferring. Obviously, I just I'm just saying in terms of like me preferring a character like Ezio, but it's just in the sense of, you know, to compare something, you know, it's like you have a really character you love, but you don't get to play as him. You just got to kind of watch him to the side where you play some new guy. And I mean, he looks like a badass. He looks like he's got an interesting story to tell, but whether he's an interesting character himself is another story. But I'm more of the belief already, just from gameplay, just from the trailer, that the world itself, it having more side missions, since Mafia 2 had pretty much nothing, it's going to be a way better world, more vibrant and far more to do. And hopefully the story as well works really well, but it doesn't mean the character will be as good as Vito in that sense.
And the alligators. Can't forget.
I mean, there'll be in this late 60s, there'll be fucking awesome music. There'll be some sweet ass cars, and New Orleans, an interesting place. It'll be really gritty. It's going to be so different. It's going to such a different tone than Mafia 2. You can tell already.
You say it's in New Orleans, but I think James said it was a place like New Orleans because it was like the last one was in Empire Bay, which was like it's in an area which is a version of New Orleans, so it's sort of like New Orleans. I suppose.
It's New Orleans. It's the same shit.
New Orleans.
Until I know the name that they're giving it, it's like Los Angeles is Los Santos in GTA. Like until they actually reveal the name, I'm just going to call it New Orleans because that's what it's based off. And even they had the House of the Rising Sun song playing in the background, and they used the words "There is a house in New Orleans." They call the Rising Sun, and I'm like, oh, okay. So that's the only way I knew it was New Orleans, because I haven't, well, by now I would have put my live reaction video up for people who are listening, but haven't done it yet. Like, I've realized, I was trying to figure out where it was, because he said the bayou, I'm like, what is it, Florida? Where are they? And then the song came on, they said New Orleans. I'm like, okay. So it's New Orleans or a city based off New Orleans.
You could just, so if it is in New Orleans, does that mean there'll be hurricanes as well, or do you think that that's just a bad joke? No. It's been overstretched since Katrina hit.
Yeah, I think it's a bit overstretched. I don't think they'll bother. It's more of a... I mean, they...
Just a random hurricane hits you.
Yeah, I watched...
Katrina came early for this universe.
Fuck.
I'm on a very, very bad... So I'm on thin ice now.
You're on point with your trolling at the moment.
Sorry to anyone who died in that. I did not mean that. If you're watching this video...
If you died in that and you're watching this, I'm sorry. What?
Christ. Someone's going to report this hate speech now. Yeah. Okay, I need some more eggshells. That was an awful joke.
I'm not editing that out. That's staying in there. That's 100% staying in there. But New Orleans is definitely an interesting choice. It's different. Because there's the French influence over it as well. So it'll be a bit...
The French Mafia. Now we know what that woman's a part of.
Is she? Is it Aveline?
Explains... Was her top white as well? That would really seal it.
What's that?
Just have, white top.
White top? What do you mean?
If you understood the... I'll explain it to you. Right, I said if there's a French Mafia, then that woman will be a part of it if she has a white top. Oh, and she does, I think. She has got a white top as well. So she is definitely a member of the French Mafia. Or it's sort of that guy with the white t-shirt. Because after all, they surrender all the time.
I was about to say, are you making a white flag surrendering joke about the
I'm not. I'm just pointing out a very far-fetched... I'm breaking the trailer down here. This is what you're supposed to do.
Fuck off.
The only one who isn't surrendering with their choice of clothing colour is Lincoln.
Yeah, I think when you saw Vito did you guys straight away, you're looking out, you're when those guys are getting out of the car, I'm like, okay, Vito,
yes,
surely.
That was me.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. And then to the right, you just see this kind of grey-haired dude with the suit. I'm like, it's him! It's gotta be him!
And that's Vito! It is Vito, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. No, it is Vito. Confirmed Vito. 100% confirmed.
It is Vito, confirmed.
Yes.
Illuminati. Just Illuminati everywhere.
Yeah, I think he's the mentor guy.
I think we're gonna find out what happened to Joe somehow.
You'd think so. I mean, there might even be, when you think DLC, you might even play as Vito in a DLC. Kind
That'd
of
be cool.
how he got to New
Vito.
Orleans. How he got to New Orleans or something.
I know how he got there.
Okay.
He teleported.
Okay, thank you.
He slapped someone and they turned into a portal and he walked through and he appeared. It's like, oh, this is New Orleans. I don't even know what the hell I'm on about. Let's just continue. Shall we?
I have a theory.
Yep.
About that. About this.
He grabbed the bucket.
You remember Leo from Mafia 2, the guy who said Joe wasn't part of the deal?
Yep, old man.
Unless he sent Vito to New Orleans, and maybe Leo's probably dead by now because he's an old man, Mafia 2. Maybe Vito has to go and pay a ransom somehow and travel to New Orleans to set up his own Italian mafia to pay the ransom to get Joe back.
Maybe.
But that's far-fetched in my opinion. But I think we're going to have something like Mafia 2 had, because in Mafia 2 we had like a conclusion to Mafia 1, because in Mafia 1 we see the ending, but that ending played out in Mafia 2. Do you remember the guy?
Oh, the guy hosing his front lawn.
Yes, that was the end of the Mafia 1.
Yeah.
That was the main guy, Mafia 1 getting shot. Maybe we're going to have something like that in Mafia 3, but this will have something to do with Joe.
You'll see like
Maybe
Vito flashbacks when he's explaining shit.
Flashbacks.
We can even see Joe's grave, maybe, if that's the case.
He has a grave.
Maybe. Well, possibly he might in this game. Well, it'll be interesting. And do you wonder? Because I'm curious as to whether Vito stayed with that family and grew up the ranks and became the head, or he said "fuck these guys" and went off on his own.
Probably the latter.
I hope so. I hope he fucked him over, killed them all, and walked off with like a badass.
If he killed them all, then remember the Mafia never forgets. So like maybe 20 years later, that's how he dies in Mafia 3.
Oh, well,
because he killed everyone.
You're right. But I mean, how many other guys has he killed? Like the end mission. Again, spoilers for anyone who's listening to this. Mafia 2 is free reign. We're going to talk all we want about it. So, at the end of Mafia 2, he killed that whole family, remember?
Yeah, it was the Falcone family.
Yeah, so I mean, if the Mafia never forgets, could be them, or he could have still fucked over a bunch of other families, who knows? He's a badass, he does what he wants.
Yeah, it's like Hitler does what he wants.
Well, he doesn't anymore.
But, well, you see, that's the common misconception.
Okay, so you're saying Hitler's alive?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's right behind you.
I'm scared to turn behind me now.
Well, he's not. I just checked.
Oh fuck! He's at my window.
Why is there a man standing at my window? Oh, the door. Someone just knocked on my door. No, they didn't. Got ya. Fuck, I'm funny. That was terrible.
God.
That was an awful joke. You've taken me to another level, Ethan.
Oh god, I've trolled you so much that you're now all mega trolls.
My brain is deteriorated.
You are now not known as Tynamite, you are now Trollamite.
Trollamite. Oh, patent pending. Oh god. So, fuck, there's so much to really think about, because I mean, but again, we don't know everything. It's a whole lot of speculation, really.
Has there been an interview yet with the developer?
Yeah. The developers who confirmed Vito, and they've got the names of the others, but I don't really care for their names as of yet. When more information comes out, I'll actually pay attention to who the Irish guy and the girl is.
If there's going to be a Q&A or some sort, submit questions, what's her name? Tangerine, the developer?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask them, bring back Joe. Or give us an ending or some sort.
I'm sure they will. Like, they seem like
DLC.
Just based off of how Mafia, like you said, the Mafia 1 ending came into Mafia 2, so cool. Like, that was so fucking cool how they did that. And I think they'll do a similar thing. Like, it'll be explained. That's why Vito's in the game. Vito is in the game because we will know what happened. I think that's almost a guarantee. I'll be shocked if they don't tell us.
I think the game will pick up possibly right where Mafia 2 ended and then flash forward about 20 years later. And Vito's just an old man.
Maybe. But, I mean, how old is he? Like we said, 43. He looks a lot older than 43, don't you reckon? Like, he has, like, white hair.
He looks at least...
My dad's 46.
He looks at least 63, 64 at most. Maybe late 50s.
Yeah, he looks in his 50s, but he is 43. Yeah, well, I guess my dad's... Oh, fuck, I don't know how old. But he's bald, so I can't really tell. I'm not a judge of how old people are when they get that colour hair. But then again, he's lived a pretty stressful life. So
late
maybe
30s,
he's
early
gotten,
40s.
Yeah, he's lived a pretty stressful life. I can imagine he's gotten grey hair maybe a bit earlier than most. I mean, how many times has he almost died?
Oh, countless times.
He was in the Second World War at 18 years old. So, you know, guy's been through some shit, so that's for sure. Yeah.
So he's going to take a...
Is he going to what?
So he's going to take a... He's taken quite a lot.
Oh, for sure.
So he's going to... I don't understand how it works, but it does.
Yeah. And there's a lot still to be revealed, really. There's so much we don't know, and it's just a whole bunch of speculation. I mean, Vito might not be even as big a part of the story as we want, or as we expect.
DLC.
Yeah, but who really knows at this point how big or small Vito's role will be? Whereas we've got this new main character that does look super interesting, and looks like he's going to fuck shit up, and he's obviously the new main focus. And
I can imagine it starting with you playing as Vito and then cutting 20 years into the future.
Yeah, I see that as a possibility. Or at least when you meet Vito, you can... There are flashbacks that kind of come into it when you meet Vito and he's telling you shit. So that could be another possibility. But who knows? I wonder how the whole running of your own Mafia crew... Because that's what it looks like it's going to go since you've got these lieutenants in Vito and these other two. There's going to be more of a you run this group of Mafia people and in amongst these other people, and you get these different locations and you grow your family and all that. Like, that looks really interesting in how that's going to work and how if the world feels really, you know, living and breathing and everything.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about with Mafia?
No, but I want to say that John Hammond gives dinosaurs AIDS. Just to get that out there.
Okay. The world now knows. What about you, Andy? Is there anything?
I just want to know, is it going to be better than Mafia 2 in terms of the story? That's all I really want to ask.
Yeah.
Looking at recent patterns, my go-to response would probably be no when it comes to games.
But I mean, you're looking at Assassin's Creed as the main example there, which if you were going off that, it would be no. But I look at games like Halo, which still has great stories every time.
To be honest with you, Halo 4 wasn't quite as good as previous Halos.
Are you joking? Halo 4 was fucking amazing.
It is still good, but
I love Halo 4.
The games have the feels.
Halo 4 was I think the best game since Halo 1 in terms of story. The deep lore, it revealed so much that we didn't know that we were waiting to be built up to. The librarian and the didact, that was like years and years and years of build up and how important Master Chief really is. That's set up and paid off so much of Halo.
But right, okay, let's say they decided that they would release a sequel for Goat Simulator. You'd think that would be a waste of time, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but that has no story.
No, but it's Goat Simulator. And Goat Simulator is a beautiful game.
You're talking apples and oranges, man.
No, well, I'm talking apples and kiwis, actually.
Well, other games that have great stories, the more they've improved. I mean, there's a lot out there. Like, I mean, gameplay-wise, I expect big improvements.
Yeah.
Is it going to feel as good as Mafia 2? I mean, Mafia 2, it's going to be very different. I said this before. It's going to be super dark, I think, in comparison, and way more gritty. It's not going to be fantasized, beautiful 50s, nice music, pretty girls dancing with, you know, these Italian guys shooting people up. It's going to be gritty, it's going to be dark, and it's going to be a lot of shit going down. It's going to be bloody.
It's going to be full of dick. Well, it's going to be alright.
There probably will be a lot of dick. I can imagine.
I can imagine.
Oh,
We're talking about the Mafia here.
There's a lot of penis there.
a lot of penis.
Yeah, I don't know what else. Like, we can only hope the story improves. We can only
Fingers crossed.
It's going to be very. I just think it's going to be different. It'll be based on what we prefer, whether the story's going to be better or worse. In some people's eyes, they might think it's way better. In other people's, it might be shit, depending on what you prefer. And I'm not really sure yet. I'm going to hold judgment. I mean, I don't expect it to come out till fall next year. I reckon they'll announce a release date for like mid next year, and then they'll delay it, probably. Is my predictions.
You think?
That's my predictions. If anyone wants to quote me on this, my prediction is they'll announce a release date, maybe at the VGAs at the end of the year, and it'll be like May 2016, and then we get to March and we find out, oh, here we go, delayed till September onwards in that space of time in 2016.
That might annoy a lot of people, but if it means the game's going to be better overall, then so be it.
Yeah, delay games, please, if it needs to be.
Blizz always delay a game is a good sign, unless we're talking about Ubisoft, in which if they delay the game, then it's not a good sign.
Well, Ubisoft, it depends how long they delay the game. 2 weeks is not going to do anything. That was clearly just
about
for
a year and a
marketing.
bit.
That was clearly just for marketing, so Rogue could actually sell. It was
The delay
very,
a year and a bit.
very tactical of why they delayed that Unity 2 weeks. What's 2 weeks going to do? What is 2 weeks going to do? It's not going to do anything.
give it time to get onto the shelves.
Yeah, they're more or less just because they wanted to put the release date at the same day as Rogue, so people could buy both or make a choice instead of Unity comes out and everyone's playing Unity and people forget there's another one coming out that's on the lesser console. It was all marketing.
I think that if they played Unity, they would have thought there better be another one.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I just
Who's going to play Unity and forget about other games? I mean, there's so many better games that you can play.
Well, it's not like Rogue was that much better anyway. Had way better story.
It is.
Nah, it's not really.
I'd say it's quite good.
I mean,
Rogue is good.
Like everyone talked up Rogue a lot. I talked down to Rogue, then everyone talked it up, and then I played it, and I say it's still in my bottom 3 still. I mean, it's easy to say that because it's not like there's that many, and they're all pretty decent.
Besides from Unity.
No, well, I like Unity better than 3 still. I stand by that.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing.
My least favourite is 3, then it's Unity, then it's Rogue. And then after that, it's just all my favourites, which is like every other game. Rogue is just short as... I don't know what you guys think, but I mean, Rogue is as short as fuck. It was 5 minutes long, and there's no side missions.
Not 5 minutes, more like 6 hours, but...
Don't you guys think? Are we going to excuse the tiny campaign?
It wasn't meant to be the main title of the year, was it?
Is that an excuse?
No.
No.
But it was.
Like because everyone gives Unity shit because it didn't work. We can't excuse Rogue.
Rogue though, did they?
I don't think it matters.
They're
making and releasing an Assassin's Creed game and they put Assassin's Creed on it. They delayed Unity 2 weeks to sell it.
You don't even play as an assassin, so, you know. A Templar's Creed.
Yeah. It had a way better story. Easily way better story. But the story was very short and there's nothing to do after.
Well, you can go around killing people. That's what I did in like Black Flag and 3 and
but Black Flag has so much to do, and the story's so fucking long. Like Black Flag's at least 4 times the size of Rogue, at least 4 times as big.
Oh no, but most of it's water. And what I like about Rogue we've gone off the track of Mafia 3, but what I like about Rogue in comparison to what they did in Black Flag is how Black Flag had the little locations in which you had to go back to your ship to like go to another one that might be on the same island. But in Rogue, if you went to one location on an island, say in like River Valley, or not the Arctic because you couldn't do it there, but in River Valley, you could move to another location up the island.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not talking shit about Rogue here. I mean, I like the game. I liked Unity, I liked 3. Just because they're my least favourites doesn't mean I hate them. It's like, if I was to compare fucking, Kane and Lynch drug game, whatever that game is. Dog Days. Like, that's a shit fucking game. That's a game that is just a whole pile of shit.
What are you, a CCTV camera behind them?
It is just a terrible game. So when I say Assassin's Creed 3 or Unity's my least favourite or Connor's shit, it's really in comparison to other Assassin's Creed characters. If I was to compare Connor to a character from another game franchise, Connor probably wins. Well, not really. He doesn't, actually. I shouldn't say that. Arno probably wins.
No, he doesn't.
Connor's...
No, Arno... Let me just be fair to Arno here. Arno wasn't a bad character at all, really. It was only the game that didn't do him enough credit. Now everyone hates him.
Well, like you guys saw, because there was that game where you play and you find out which Assassin's Creed character you are. And I got Arno. I always liked Arno. I hated the story he was in, and I didn't like how that worked at all. But Arno was the only saving grace of the game. But I said this again, like, it depends on what you like, but also, in my review, I talked about, I liked Arno because he wasn't making dumb dick decisions like Connor made. Like, he gets one piece of information and makes every decision he's ever made off of that and kills a bunch of people and fucks shit up for everybody. And then Arno goes and makes decisions. I'm like, yeah, I would have thought that way. I would have done that. Turns out, apparently I'm like Arno, so I don't know. Maybe that's just why I thought that.
I don't know what character I'm like. I said I'm like Shay.
So you would betray people that trust you?
No, I'd only betray those who shoot me in the back.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think Shay's annoyed about what happened in Portugal, Lisbon.
What's that?
I think the real point behind him joining the Templars was the fact that he was trying to do what was right.
Well,
the reason he shot him through the shoulder blade for it.
Reason he betrayed the assassins. That's what I thought was weird. Like, I totally get why he left the assassins. That was fucked up, what happened. But does that mean to join the Templars? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, Shay misunderstood, didn't he? It was obvious from the point that Shay misunderstood and thought the assassins deliberately did it.
Yeah, so I guess, but you can fight assassins and not be a Templar. There's other factions.
Are there other factions? What like? I can't really remember the other factions.
It's not even about being other factions. I mean, there are, like, what is the Udito or whatever that shit in modern day? There's in the Ezio trilogy and Brotherhood, there was the weird, like, hooded guys and Da Vinci's disappearance. So, like, there's heaps of different factions or whatever. But I'm more talking about you can just be a standalone guy, the lone wolf.
Yeah, but then who's gonna help you? I mean, Shay would have not done what he did if nobody helped him. And probably saw the Templars as a chance to do what he thought was right.
That's true. That's true. And then they gave him a lot of power.
He wanted to.
Yeah.
I know what he wanted to do. He sort of wanted to resolve, like, all of it and just get it out of the way, which he didn't do because it's got a modern day. But, he just wanted to bring an end to it, really, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
All the earthquakes caused by man-made earthquakes and stuff, and all the accidents caused by the assassins. He wanted to change that, just like the assassins. There's the thing that Rogue does, which I think it should have done, is it sort of brings the balance to say there's no good side and there's no bad side in this game. It is literally war. That's all it is.
Yeah, I guess that's true in some cases, but also depends on the people who are involved. Who's right?
You realise we've been off track for about 10 minutes now.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? It's my podcast. We'll do whatever the fuck I want to do.
The stick of Tynamite. Suck on my Tynamite stick.
Yeah.
No, get rid of the stick bit. Suck on my Tynamite. This is my podcast.
Suck on my Tynamite. Yeah, but we have been off track a while. But that's okay. Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's just my view on Rogue. I just thought, I liked it. I had fun playing it, but it was just lasted fuck all. And then there was nothing. And I was like, oh, that's alright, I'll just free roam. Oh, there's nothing to do except get a bunch of collectibles. They get me armor that I can wear doing nothing because I finished everything. So.
Although I probably enjoyed it quite a lot.
Yeah. I think people enjoyed it because there was low expectations. Everyone expected it to be shit and it wasn't. Everyone hates on Unity like it's so terrible when it's more just everyone had high expectations for it.
Yeah.
It's graphic. There's a lot bad about it. There's a lot good about it. I think to me, it's just a double-edged sword with Unity. Ran terribly. It has a bullshit, boring story. Had a bunch of great characters though in it, and had a really good. In theory, it was really good. They just didn't execute it.
It would have been so much better though if they actually done the optimization right.
There's a lot they could have done. 6-month delay might have fixed it, but again, when you've got a weak story like that, there's not much you can do.
No.
Yeah.
But,
and Syndicate doesn't look any better. Syndicate does not look any better.
But, you know, all these low expectations might make it the best game ever, but it probably won't.
No, I don't. It's not like...
Even better than my old Tetris. Hugs Tetris.
Ooh.
Hashtag Tetris love.
Any last thoughts, guys? Andy, any last thoughts?
On Mafia 3? Or are we talking about Assassin's Creed still?
Everything.
Well, I still hate Unity. I'll never like it.
Yep. Fair point.
I like Rogue. I like every other Assassin's Creed game. And that's kind of my thoughts on that. But for Mafia 3, can't wait for it. Super excited. But I don't want to get overhyped, because if you get overhyped for a game, take example Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah,
that's a fine example.
We can get kicked in the nuts. Yeah, fair enough. Ethan, your final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not overhyped. We've only got off 5 times to it, so that's only today.
5 in a day, fair enough. Save a couple for tomorrow. drop a few more loads tomorrow. That'll be fine.
It's starting to hurt though, but you know, too much information.
I don't want to know which part's got you.
Vito, what?
When he stabbed that guy in the neck and fed him to an alligator.
That was the best bit. I have a fetish for being eaten by alligators, it seems.
Well, didn't you want to measure them? That's your fetish? You wanted to measure all the characters? How tall? Ooh, that girl looked really tall. That afro made her taller. Let's measure that.
Let's measure the afro. No, seriously.
No, seriously? Those are your thoughts?
Yeah. If you've been... Right, let me talk to the viewers now. If you clicked off this podcast before the end, you will wake up tomorrow night and I'll be measuring.
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to hang... Okay, yeah. Okay, that's okay. I thought you were going to go somewhere else and I was like, I'm going to stop you. Is my podcast going to stop you? Okay. No, it's okay. Calm down. It's all okay. But yeah,
I'll be measuring you with a hammer.
Like I've said before, ladies and gentlemen, he could be talking about measuring and he could be talking about you. That's the reality.
Measuring your waistline. 69 inches. What the hell happened here?
Yeah, yes. And my thoughts, well, I've said, everyone knows my thoughts on Assassin's Creed games in general. I don't shut the fuck up about it. And in terms of Mafia 3, very excited. I expect a darker game. I expect a very different game with more GTA-like than Mafia 2-like, but also really interesting story. Whether it's better, I don't know, but it's going to be very different at a different tone.
Yes.
What?
And we hear Andy in the background whispering.
Awkward silence as we listen to Andy being told off by his sister or something.
As we hear private conversations.
New podcast where we hear private conversations.
We just sorry, Andy. We didn't hear what was said, but we heard some muffled voices.
You just hear like someone having sexual intercourse in the background. All you hear is da da da. It's like, are you having sex with a pigeon? A pigeon.
Fucking hell, man. You take it to another level. You take it to another level. I don't know if I'm willing to go there. I just don't know whether I'm willing to get to that level.
I don't know. But you have to use a ladder, but you have to be careful it doesn't get knocked off.
Yeah, but I'm fine at looking at it from a distance. But with how close do I want to get, I'm not sure.
If you're within 100 meters, you're going to need safety goggles, a helmet, and full body armor. If you get within 50 meters, you also need the radioactive suit to the anti-radiation things. And then if you get any closer, you're screwed.
Jesus.
Your spacesuit,
Christ
an armored spacesuit. And if you get any closer, but that's to like 30 meters. But if you get any closer than that, you need a tank as well.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to your trolling, that's for sure. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on. And, I mean, the people might be listening to this podcast on your channels, because I'm assuming you guys want to upload this on your channels. I don't know. It's
Probably.
Up to you guys.
It depends how long it takes for this podcast to convert to MP3, or are you going to send it over, like, something?
Oh, no, it'll be up to you guys. It shouldn't be that big. It won't be a big deal.
It's an audio file. It will take about, I don't know, not too long.
Nah, it shouldn't. I think that's about it, guys. I appreciate it. Andy, I'll have to get you on to the Stick of Dynamite at some point individually.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen soon.
Join the Hall of Fame.
I will.
I mean, you're
the Hall of Tyler Fame.
You're already a Stick of Dynamite podcast alumni, but officially
the Hall of Tynamite.
But
oh yeah.
But we'll get you on, individually. I'm sure there's plenty we can discuss. So thanks again, guys. And thanks, guys, for watching or listening, because it's a fucking podcast. And let us know your thoughts on Mafia 3 and any of the bullshit we talked about. And if you think we're a bunch of fuckwits, dislike it. And if you loved it, which I'm assuming everyone did, like it.
Ego, hashtag.
Hashtag confidence.
Hashtag big head.
Hashtag like it, or Ethan will fucking measure you when you're sleeping.
Oh, man. No,
and we'll end it there.